How many of you have seen a signpost like this before? A lot of you don't know why people put this kind of signpost in their property. Recently, a lawyer on Instagram said that if you see any abandoned building in Nigeria that nobody's living in, that you can actually pack your load inside that building, start living there, and after 10 to 12 years, you become the owner. This is a loophole in the Nigerian constitution, and it is in the law. It is legal. You can actually move into an abandoned building, and after 10 to 12 years, nobody disturbs you. You will become the landlord. I'm sorry, I don't know who owns this property, but I think it's been abandoned, and I'm going to be having an interview section with the lawyer. After I'm done with that, I might come back here and move my things. And if the landlord does not come to disturb me after 10 years, then automatically I'll be the ogre of this house. So come with me, let us have this interview section and learn something new. There are loopholes in the Nigerian law, and some of you have not been paying attention. Come with me.
You can't be a house owner and you see someone move into your house or squat in your house for a continuous period of 15 years or 12 years. It means you've dashed that person in the house. It means you slept on your right. Let's say you're a farmer now. You can move into any farm and start farming for a continuous period. But there are conditions precedent to this. Let's say you move into someone's property and he has security. The person can shoot you on the ground of trespass or something, or you're even coming to attack. Just imagine what would be the story.
Barrister Stanley, is it true that a homeless person can enter an abandoned building and legally own it?
Yes, according to the provisions of our law, yes. It's a legal principle which we call adverse possession. It means it's a principle of law which means that a squatter is called squatter's right in some jurisdiction. I think in the UK it's called squatter's right, whereby a squatter or a homeless person can see a vacant building, enter that building without the permission or the authority of the house owner and start living there. If you've continuously lived there for an uninterrupted period of 12 years, you are presumed to be the bona fide owner of that property, and you can go to the government to register the title and you officially becomes yours.
Jesus Christ, are you serious right now?
Yes.
Has this been successful in Nigeria, or is just theoretical?
No, there are a lot of cases. In fact, it provide this provision, this adverse possession is even provided in our laws in the Limitation Act of 1966. It's there that if you go live in a property for uninterrupted for a period of 12 years, you can go and claim the right and become a distinct. There are cases even that have gone up to Supreme Court. There is a prominent one they call Nianarimoro. I think it was decided in 1973 by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said that for the person, for a squatter to have stayed there for this one, not even 12 years, the squatter stayed there for 15 years before the owner wanted to take over the property. The court said, no, what have you been doing all this while for the period of 15 years? You have slept on your right. And the court said, yes, the squatter is now the owner of the house, according to the principle of adverse possession.
So the person that initially owned it lost ownership?
Yes. It's another principle they call laches and quiescence in law. It means in summary, basically it means don't sleep on your right. Let's say we call it limited status of limitation. Someone cannot do something now, then you leave it for some time. You're expected to, they say the law is the vigilant. That simply means if someone offends you, you're expected to take action immediately. You can't be a house owner and you see someone move into your house or squat in your house for a continuous period of 15 years or 12 years. It means you've dashed that person in the house. It means you slept on your right. It's not even in contract, even in matrimonial cause. Even there are periods that is specified in our law that if you don't take action within the so period of time, you've slept on your right, and the principle of status or limitation will be applied.
Now, is this just for buildings alone or even lands?
Yes, lands, building, and anywhere. Talking about land, you can, let's say you're a farmer now, you can move into any farm and start farming for a continuous period. But there are conditions precedent to this. One of the conditions is that you must move into that property without the consent of the house owner. Let's say as you're living in this property now as a tenant, then you decide that you're no longer paying rent, that you want to, no, it won't apply because you're a tenant, you're presumed to be a tenant. But for that principle to apply, you must adversely possess that property, meaning that you must move into that property without the consent or authorization of that this thing. Now, the other side to it is, if the property owner finds you and decide to take action, he can sue you for trespass. He can legally evict you. But for a property owner to have abandoned your living, maybe he traveled, or maybe never know that property exists anymore, you can decide to file for it and claim it and say it's not.
I was just about to ask you what's the difference between what you are saying right now and trespassing. What's the difference between this and trespassing?
There's no difference. A squatter, you moving into someone's property and standing, you are a trespasser. But for you to have continuously trespassed on that property for a period of 10 to 12 years, that means it's presumed that the owner have dashed you or have forgotten the property. So if the person caught you, he can sue you for trespass. He can sue you for a squatter. He can legally evict you. He can sue you for damage yourself for trespassing. So that's the other side of it. You cannot just see a fine building and move into it. Maybe if the person, you can seek damages for you trespassing in his property.
If you have 300,000 naira right now, you're looking for a land to buy, there's an opportunity going on in Ogun State, Abuja. A 300 square meters is going for 1 million naira, and all you need to pay first is 300,000 naira. Then you make the rest payments within 6 months. There's a 600 square meters that is going for 2 million naira. All you need to pay first is 600,000 naira. Then you pay the rest within 6 months. There's even an acre of land that is going for 12 million naira. All you need to do is to pay 1.5 million naira first and pay the rest within 6 months. This property is very close to government house in Ogun State, in Abuja. It's also close to our late president estate, Muhammadu Buhari. Sorry, I didn't pronounce that correctly. It's also close to Nigerian Immigration Service. If you are interested, call this phone number right now, and I'm sure you won't regret it. Let's continue with our video. And there are so many abandoned buildings in Nigeria, especially here in Abuja. So many. There's a whole lot. So what advice do you have for people who are currently outside Nigeria and they have properties here, but no one is currently looking after these properties? What is something they should do right now to protect their property?
What we advise in law, they call it possession. There's difference between ownership and possession. Even if you own a thing and you do not possess it, it's presumed that you are not the owner. That's why we lawyers, if someone buys a parcel of land, the first thing we advise the person, buy a strip of sand and go and pour there, even if you don't have to start doing something. Buying a strip of sand or mold block and live there, even if you don't have any intention, that shows that there is an owner, you've taken possession of that thing. So if you have a property, I think this thing, let's be fair, in all fairness, there's a property, this one is a popular one, this Bua, this in Kado. I think they say that estate has been existing for years now and nobody's living there. I don't know how true this is. So, and this is a city that we are crying of housing deficit. There are people sleeping along the street. I think this principle was introduced to solve this kind of problem. That you as a big man maybe want to launder money through property, or you don't have any this thing. Let's come to think of it. How can you have a fine house unless you're a criminal, unless you are, let's say, okay, let me not be too harsh. And there are people that don't have where to sleep. Why not put it on rent, subsidize the rent, or just give it to people to be staying?
Why they are maintaining it?
It's a way to actually legally protect yourself. Because if there are people, just like I said, this principle that I'm talking about is not just theory. It has been tested in plethora of cases, even from lower court up to Supreme Court. And Supreme Court has said, yes, it is a provision of the law that says if you have stayed in this property, there's another case now, I think Oladimeji. That's the 1983 case. The Supreme Court said, okay, the person stayed there for a period of 18 years. What were you doing? What have you been doing? Let's say you travel. At least, if you travel, you have a property. That's the use of a lawyer. Your lawyer will constantly have properties like that under my care. That the clients, they have the properties, they are abroad. Sometimes we go there, check, open the gate, who is staying here? Okay, nobody is staying here. Okay, sometimes this, what they call it, megad or aboki. Like stay at the boys' quarter, be taking care of it. Those are the way to legally protect your properties. But yeah.
This sounds outlandish. It's unbelievable. I mean, how is this even existing in the law that somebody can trespass and own a property that they never acquired through legal tender or anything? It's unbelievable. And it's not just in theory. He just said that this has been successful many times here in Nigeria. So if you own a property, please find someone that can occupy it. There are a lot of people in Abuja that are. I think somebody reached out to me one time in 2022. He said he owned 2 properties in Life Camp, and he was looking to rent it out. That he has not been able to get someone. He doesn't even have family in Abuja. He's just somebody who acquired a property and got so busy with life overseas that he didn't really think about it. So now he was looking for somebody that could help him rent it out. So
there are a lot of persons looking for us to rent, maybe because of the price. If you are looking for,
can subsidize
the
and
price,
give them the option to maintain it.
Yes,
right?
yes. Subsidize. Also, for let there be hope for common man. We are talking about big cities like Abuja and Lagos. You go to Ikoyi, VI, you see a lot of abandoned properties where people can't afford where to stay.
But how do people even?
Morally, is it right? Let's live morally. I think it should. I love the fact that a law has been made, not just Nigeria. This is not just a Nigerian law. It's applicable in common law jurisdiction like in the US, in the UK, in the Canada, that squatters, they call it squatters' right or adverse possession. That you cannot abandon a property and someone will come and stay there for an uninterrupted period of 10, 12, 15, 20 years. It's presumed that person is the bona fide owner of that property. Because in law, whoever has possession is presumed to be the owner, not even if you have the papers. No, possession is the core thing.
I also heard of something that as a landlord, you can't evict somebody out of your house. There's a way I heard that thing, especially not in Nigeria. I saw a video on TikTok. The owner of the house was complaining that the tenant does not want to leave, and the person has refused to pay rent for almost a year, and they don't want to leave. So what is that called under the law?
No, it's not. It's not current. I know what you're talking about. You cannot, like Nigeria, that anything goes. You have to legally evict someone. Now you have to go to court, get eviction order and the rest. So, and these people are entitled to, let's say, a yearly tenant now is entitled to 6 months eviction notice. So you must have certified all those things. If not, if you take the person to court as a landlord, you might lose that case because you've not given that person a proper notice. In fact, at the expiration of 6 months, the person is also entitled to another 1 month notice. That's 7 months. At the expiration of the 7th month, the person is also entitled to another 7 days owner's intention to recover property. That's what it's called in law. So you cannot, without fulfilling this condition, take the person to court. So the person, that's why the people are always crying, is not paying rent. Okay, we're waiting for this thing to expire or to do this thing. Yeah, that's how it works.
Does the landlord have the right to throw away the tenant's properties out of the
No,
house?
you can't. You as a landlord, unless it is the court order. And it is the court that will execute that order, not you. If not, you are taking laws into your hand.
A lot of Nigerian landlords will give tenants 7 days quick notice. What do you have to say about that?
That's unlawful. In fact, there are a lot of cases that court have said that's unlawful. You cannot give someone 7 days notice to leave your house. Just like I stated earlier, if it's a year, just as we practice in Nigeria, we do yearly tenant. If it's a yearly tenant, the person is entitled to 6 months. After the expiration of 6 months, you give the person extra 1 month. These are the things they do to protect, and although there are cantankerous tenants, we understand, but the law sometimes is being made to protect the weaker persons because the person is below. But I've seen situations whereby the landlord, in fact, a landlord or a house owner does not even have a right to enter your house. Let's say you've rented this thing. The landlord does not have a right to enter this property without first notifying you, without your approval. Not to talk of coming to throw your things away. He is doing that, he's not trespassing. Despite the fact that it's his house, you are the one in possession, you are the possessor, you are the one occupying that property.
So you can actually take your own landlord to court?
Yeah, people have taken their landlords to court. We have represented some. Yes, you can take your landlord to court.
So what they need to do is to reach out to a lawyer, and the lawyer will help them to fight file the.
That's the proper way. We are not. You have to understand that we are not in an animal republic. There are laws for all these things. If you want someone to leave your house, go and get a court order. And it doesn't even start. I've seen situations whereby a landlord will get a court order to evict the tenant, and the lawyer to the tenant will file a stay on a proceeding and appeal the case. So that you see the tenant stay in the house for this is not a good thing to be saying. So let's move on.
No, say it now. This is education.
No, it's tricky.
Because
but it's not advisable. I'm just telling something that happens. It's not something I as a lawyer should be advising people, because I'm also a landlord. I have properties that just imagine, put yourself in their shoes. But what we are saying is that we have seen situations where landlords take advantage of tenants, and we've seen on the other way around where tenants take advantage. So yes, but the law is always on the side. If you feel your tenant wants to take advantage of you, go to court instead of taking laws into your hands. Because if we've got cases where the landlord decided to uproot. There's one that happened in Asokoro. He went and removed the roof that they must leave, and the tenant sued, and the landlord paid for damages. So he shouldn't have done. Yes, I would have mentioned, he's a popular person, a hefty this thing. He went and removed the roof of the this thing. He claimed that he wants to do renovation, that they should on a cold rainy season like this.
He did not seek advice from his lawyers.
Yes.
So what I've seen people doing. Some people use juju. They'll use juju and surround the whole house to scare the tenants to leave. What is something within the law that landlords can do to recover their properties from these kinds of people?
No, just like I said, you just go to court.
But the court is going to take time. Like 7 months is a lot.
We can't help it. That's the provisions of what the Lord have said. Just imagine now that there's no provision for that. Can you imagine what will be happening? A landlord, maybe did not greet the landlord, can just come and say, leave my house. So the laws are placed to put checks to these things. It happens. This one, I have a client in Lagos that called me that said, okay, this landlord she's a lady. Said the landlord is asking her out and she's not coming into terms. So the landlord decided to ask her to. Just imagine. So you have to say, no, even if you want to. Now, you can't just even evict someone. There you have to, for frivolous reasons, let's say someone that have consistently paid rent, is not constituting a nuisance in the property, you wake up and say, okay, leave my house. No. You can't, despite even if you get to court to ask on what ground, okay, you're owing rent, or you're constituting nuisance, or you're damaging my property. Not that, okay, I don't just like you again or stuff, just leave my own. No. There are laws in Nigeria, despite the fact that people feel we don't have laws.
Oh, this is surprising to hear. I need to start paying attention to some of these laws because we keep learning every day. Now, we see your post on Instagram. You post a lot. You give legal advice to people. And the truth is, some people might decide to take this legal advice blindly without trying to understand the full scope of that law. What is something you have to say about that? For example, when you posted about this, that you can go into somebody's home, live there for maybe 10 years or 12 years and acquire it. There are people who think that, oh, wow, so if a lawyer is saying it, maybe I can actually do it. And then they attempt to do it without fully understanding the due process of how things like this should be done. What advice do you have for people who like to follow legal information they find online blindly?
No, these things, you don't take it, at least you research on it. Just like I said, you can read up on the principle of adverse possession in Nigeria. So and also know that there is the other side to it. Let's say you move into someone's property and he has security. The person can shoot you on the ground of trespass or something, or you're even coming to attack. Just imagine what would be the story. So you cannot just, let's say maybe there's a house you be eyeing in your area, and you want to move in. That person can as well sue you. If the person finds you out, can sue you for trespass.
So it's risky.
So it's calculated risk. It's risky.
Yes. So you have to make sure that nobody entirely is living there.
Even there are a lot of squatters. Let's say there's what is going on between the FCT ministers and some this thing. I think these Gishiri people, when they wanted to evict them, most of these around people staying there are not even the indigenous owner. There are people squatting there. So these are the laws that
they
are
came
even
to settle in.
Yes, these are even the laws that are protecting them. People like that. So they took, I think in some instance, they have taken the FCT ministers to court. And the FCT minister, the argument will be like, you are not even the indigenous resident owners of this land. And they are saying, okay, we've lived here, we settled here for the period of 10, 12 years. So before you evict us, you have to reallocate us, take us to another place. So these are the things. Even in this, I'm giving you an example of how it happens in this Abuja. The most common one that I'm aware of is this one, Gishiri, when they wanted to build that road. Yeah. So he wanted to evict the people, the squatters there. And they are saying, we have squatters' right. We came here, we know that it's a government land, a reserve area. Nobody's staying there. We moved in there. We stayed there for a continuous period of 10, 12 years. So it's presumably, according to the provisions of our law, we are the owners of this thing. And it happens, you see them, someone squat there, you've maybe stayed there for 10 years, you see them renting the places or giving people houses to build land that which is not. That's why some of them don't even have title to those places. But because they've stayed there, occupy hard possession of that places for a continuous number of periods, they're presumed to be the owners.
Wow. Now I'm just imagining all of the people that have, I don't know how to say illegally or legally, acquired plots of land and acres of land in Nigeria.
A lot.
Should I say illegally?
Of course, from the start, it's illegal.
It's illegal,
Yes.
but somehow within the confines of the law.
Yeah, and they rectified it. There is a lot. Even there's a story, even in Asokro, that if you go someplace in Asokro, you see where that big mansions that are Malam that they are occupying for the period of 10, 12 years. They become, let's say, the person lives abroad or the family is in abroad, and so and they will sell it. Okay, you're talking about
plots of land.
Yes.
Like acres.
Of course,
You
even
can
if
just
this,
go somewhere, start farming on the land.
Start farming
and
on
from
it. There are some play areas that maybe government have not, development have not gotten there. Just look for those areas.
You can even start building there.
Yes.
And if nobody disturbs you within 12 years.
It becomes your own.
But this is risky too.
It's risky because
if you can't defend yourself,
they will
right,
demolish it.
demolish it.
Because we can demolish it everywhere. So you lose
it's risky.
lose front and back.
So I just hope that the people who have been seeing all those things on TikTok, that you can legally go to a house you did not build, stay there for 10 years and acquire it. Some of you, I hope you find this video so you don't get yourself in trouble, because it is very, very possible to get yourself in real trouble.
Do I advise it as a lawyer? No, I don't advise it because it's risky.
So but he's just stating
what the law said. Yes. So that's a caveat.
So now this is the full story. I hope you now understand the clearer picture of what it entails. And please, you guys should be careful. Before you take legal advices on social media, it is very important you have a lawyer you speak to so that they can take their time and explain everything for you in details, because it's not everything that can be explained in details, okay? And that is the whole point of this episode. So I'm going to be having other sections with Barrister Stanley. We are going to be talking about different topics. For now, I'm still compiling a list of topics that I would like to have with him. If there are topics you are very much interested to hear from us, kindly indicate in the comment section or send me an email, and I'll be more than happy to share that with him so we can fix a date to have the interview session. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
I appreciate coming on the Lucky Udu experience.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So, what are we looking to discuss in the future? What other topics do you have in mind? For me, I'm researching.
What other topics? Okay, I'm currently doing a postgraduate study. It's an area of law now that I'm finding so much interesting. Young people might find it interesting. You see, there's blockchain law, fintech, cryptocurrency. There are laws now that security and exchange, recognizing cryptocurrency as, before cryptocurrency was previously banned. So let's say now, if you are doing crypto, then they can freeze your account, place your account on PND, presumably illegal. Police could disturb you. But now with the provisions of the Investment and Securities Act of 2025, which repealed or amended the 2007 Act, now is more of a distance. Is more an area of law that you as a crypto trader, you can acquire license, trade your thing, and that's the one that come off my head now, top of my head, because it's currently something I've been paying attention to recently.
Interesting.
And there is also the area of taxation. They just passed a law now on taxation that everybody now should, including content creators, market women, although there are grace to it, that if you do not pay tax, most people don't pay. You do pay your tax. Well, as you pay tax, if you haven't paid it, that's the thing. And now the government wants to start coming after anybody that's not paying tax for tax charging. And tax evasion is a crime in Nigeria now, so it could be prosecuted.
Okay, this is going to be our next topic.
Yeah,
tax
so
evasion.
A lot of people don't know about this tax thing.
So we are going to, every content creator out there making content, this information will be valuable to you. We are going to be discussing about tax. Tomorrow I'll be going to Federal High Court, so if we finish early, maybe we can even still have the section.
No problem.
If you'll be free.
No problem.
So we can have the section tomorrow to talk about tax.